one of the things that recently happened in the United States I want to bring to your attention. Those of you who have gone to Las Vegas, Nevada, have recently witnessed where they have built a replica, or tried to build a replica, of Horm Akhet, one of the most ancient colossals, not only built right here on the African continent, but the most ancient colossal on the planet Earth. And they made him with blue eyes and white skin. And not one word is said that this is an African architectural structure. And even put a pyramid, and they even have Tut's hut. So the sad thing is that people from all over the world go here, and not one word is mentioned that this is an African architectural structure. Not one word is mentioned that this belongs to African people. And the sad thing is that many Africans who go there and spend their money don't even realize it themselves. And the rooms are called Tut's hut. As Dr. John Henry Clark, another Grand Master teacher of ours, would say, that which is sacred to us has been desecrated. And not only has it been desecrated, but we have been taught to laugh at its desecration. That's a shame. All people who are a people must preserve their ancient sites. For us to be a people, we must have something that is ancient that belongs to us. So when you look up at the face of Horm Akhet, you can see where Napoleon, who came here in 1798 and had 21 cannon, his generals, line up 21 cannons and blow the nose off. And George Washington, who was part of the Illuminati, Benjamin Franklin, and Andrew Jackson. That's why they named Memphis, Tennessee, off of Memphis, where we're going in a few minutes, trying to design from the Grand Masters. So they know they were stealing the people from the African continent and stealing the knowledge as well. So let's go up on the high wall and see more of Horm Akhet and deal more in depth with the history, the true history of this Grand Master who came up out of pre-dynastic Egypt. Not the 4th dynasty, but pre-dynastic, who was part of the real Horus king, who was deified as a god. The first deification as God as a man.
Tell it, brother. Tell it like it is, man. Tell it, Kwesi.
Horm Akhet. And sisters, you're at one of the most spectacular sites right here, and that is Horm Akhet, who the Greeks call the Sphinx. Over 240 feet long and over 65 feet high. Keep in mind, if you look at his ears, 6 feet tall, that means you can stand inside of his ears. Look how massive this colossal is. Standing here from the dawn of time, who the Arabs call him Abu Hal, or meaning the Great Father. And truly the Great Father of time. And now, through documentation and excavations, some have even documented that Horm Akhet may go back to the time of the Badarian Age. Reconstruction have taken place down through the ages. Many European Egyptologists have said that this is Khafra of the 4th dynastic period. But if you look at the prognathous jaw, he looks nothing like Khafra. Let's go and see, as I said, in pre-dynastic times, representing the Shimsu Haru, let's go back and see who Horm Akhet goes back to. With a little Twa, who our ancestors, even known as the Sebenetos, who was during that time of the pre-dynastic period known as the Twa, and even Bes. That's where you see his origins go back to, who the Africans built this. So here we have all proof and documentation of where the origin of Horm Akhet, and all who comes before him, like the Europeans you see here, have to look up at this and see the beginning when Napoleon was documented in Los Angeles Times, that when Napoleon visited the Sphinx in 1798, everything but the head had been buried in sand, although his soldiers reputedly used the head for target practice. But we know it's a new day today, and it's the first day today. So you may not grasp where you have been until you go back and lay your eyes down and Horm Akhet come into your sleep. When Horm Akhet digs deep down into your what they call REM sleep and come up and said, you came back to visit me. But here where the kings came between the pole, where you get the Grand Master's grip of the, where our story has been persecuted, and persecuted in a way that we look at it from a European perspective. And what I'm trying to say is that the pyramid right here in Giza, the Great Pyramid of Khufu, this pyramid is 7 million tons of masonry. 2,300,000 stones put in exact position. Why do I say that? Because we are told that the pyramids are made out of mud and straw. Now, you are right here at the pyramids. The outer casing of these pyramids are 5 tons each, and the inner casing are 50 tons each. This pyramid of Khufu is built in the 4th dynastic period. There were no people at this particular time called Jews who built the pyramids, and definitely not Makan Begin. Makan Begin is an Ashkenazi Jew from Poland, and he stood here right where you are now and said his people built the pyramids. But he's able to tell the world that because of the power that they have inflicted upon other people to force that story on other people. So we come back here to tell the truth. Now, we have one of the few pictures of Khufu right here. Now, when you get to the museum today, you're going to see a small picture, a small statue of Khufu. It's the only thing left. Although we have the largest building here, the smallest thing of Khufu is in the Cairo Museum. So we're talking around 2,400 years BC. And as sure enough as you're standing right here to look at the pyramids, there will be others 5,000 years from now looking at the pyramids just like you did. So we come back here for an eyewitness account, and let's go up closer so we can feel the stones and touch it, because you're actually feeling the stones, the master builders of your ancestors who built this. And I'm saying somebody knows something about us that we don't know about ourselves and definitely don't want us to know. So let's go around here, and you can get the awesome power of the pyramids. 5 tons each, 100,000 workmen, skilled workmen, geometrical science that we're looking at here. That's right. This is what African people have done. And even today, they try to figure out all kinds of means of how the pyramids were built. Even the Japanese came here, the Nippon Corporation, and tried to build the pyramids, and it collapsed. In fact, science called geodesics. Geodesics is the landmass of the center of the earth. You know, the pyramid is built right in the center of the earth, on a perfect northeast-southwest direction due to the North Star. But again, you're looking at the greatest structure on the planet Earth. We're talking about this was the tallest structure on the planet Earth until the Empire State Building was built. But you can take over 48 Empire State Buildings, more than that, 68 Empire State Buildings, still would not equal the mass of the Great Pyramids. All those places that we've been taught to deify in the Western world, like the Basilica in Rome, St. Peter's Basilica in Rome, you know the places, Westminster Abbey, the Parthenon, that one too. All of them can fit comfortably down inside of this pyramid and still have a lot of room for a lot of other buildings to sit inside the pyramid. Now right here you can see the white limestone right on the top. Now this is Khafra's pyramid right here with the white limestone on the top. Now you can get an idea how the white limestone used to cover the whole pyramids. Now this was taken off by Sultan Hassan, ripped off to build a mosque around Cairo. And you can see the Great Pyramid right here, the rugged look that you see on the outside. This was originally covered with all white limestone. And with the all white limestone, it was a smooth, polished casing. So when the sun hit the pyramids, rays went out in all directions. So you're not looking at the original look of the pyramids when they were first built. Here, okay, to Dajar and see the real true pyramid of Sneferu. This is Khufu's father. In fact, it looks just like the Great Pyramid, doesn't it? But it's Sneferu who wanted to move from the step pyramid of Imhotep that you saw and build the first true pyramid. That means a smooth casing of a true equilateral plane pyramid. But actually, this is not the first one. Actually, there's another one with his grandmaster builder, Zezamon, where they have the bent pyramid. It's in back of this one, a mile down the road. But his architects didn't get it right, and it's in a bent format. So he wanted to build another one. Some even say that in the area of Meidum, that pyramid is possibly Sneferu's too. Okay, now I think that may be Huni's pyramid, that he was first trying to achieve that first true pyramid. This is what the documentaries don't show you in the States when they start to talk about the aliens built the pyramids. They don't show you the evolution of pyramid building. They don't take you to Saqqara. They don't take you here to Sneferu, Khufu's father that you see right here that built the first true pyramid. Because if they did, they could see the evolution of pyramid building. So if some Martians came here from outer space, extraterrestrials, don't you think they would have had the technology of pyramid building, of the true pyramid, right first? Why would they have to come all the way to Earth to get the thing right? So you got pyramids all through this area. You got dilapidated. You got Sinro-Ret's pyramid. It looks like a volcano right over there. That's of the Middle Kingdom, around the 12th dynasty. You got other pyramids of Amenemhet, all around this area, although dilapidated, but these here are in excellent conditions. Now, unlike the pyramid that you saw earlier, like Teddy's came later. There's no writing inside this pyramid, so don't come in and say, why don't we have the writing like we had in Teddy, and like the writing is in Unas of the 5th dynasty and Teddy in the 6th dynasty, because that's known as the pyramid text. There's no writing at this time in the pyramids. The pyramid itself, as we were talking about, that was the whole purpose of rising up to heaven. You're actually going into the world's first true pyramid. And like I said before, I think the Sneferu is more powerful than Khufu. Why? Because it took him 9 million tons of masonry to achieve it right, building 2 pyramids. Okay, that means 6 million tons of masonry more than his son Khufu. But they look at Khufu as being the great, but I think Sneferu is greater than him because it took 2 pyramids to get it right. So don't let nobody come with the extraterrestrial madness and tell you about these things, because this is what you call field work that you're doing. This is what you call empirical observation from your own eyes. As Dr. Ben told me, Kwesi, do not be an armchair scholar, reading crazy things that Europeans write in their books without going and investigating it yourself. That's why you don't see, look, there's no tour buses coming up in here. No tourists running all over the place like you saw up in the Giza Plateau. And we went to the Great Pyramid. Because that is the stop, they see that and that's it, and they think that's it. And then sometimes I've heard people even tell them, yep, you see, extraterrestrials. Before they would say that a black man built it, they'll say a spaceman built it. You're not even considered as a possibility. They take it to extraterrestrials. If it's not the extraterrestrials, then they say the Jews built the pyramids. No, Jews had nothing to do with building pyramids. So brothers and sisters, we'll start our journey up to the top. I'll tell you what, I'll go up, I'll start up first. Yeah. All right, y'all, come on. Are we grasping where we are? Yes. Do we know where we are? Yes. I know when you were coming down that chamber, you said, I got to turn back. But the brother said the mind is on freedom, so we got to keep on going.
You put your hand on the plow, you can't turn back.
Can't turn back.
Or you won't get the kingdom.
But here you are standing, brothers and sisters. If we can grasp that time period of over 4,500 years ago, this structure was built. Built for the Grand Master himself, Sneferu. Yes. Yes. Let's give respect to him and his sacred tomb. Look at the structure of all of this. Yes. Look at these stones, brothers, and let's observe these stones. Look at this. When they talk about there's no needles, no pins, nothing, granite stones put in exact position. Massive stones that were carried from 500 miles away, quarried from the area of Ta-Nehisi, now called Nubia today. And still they can't figure out how the mastery of this work was done. But this is the mastery of the work. When you have the unification of African people, when it's put together, this is what we can do. So let's give an oath to the spirit of Sneferu like we did with Teddy, to honor his sacred tomb. So again, we're going to call on the oath to the ancestors in this special place where we are to honor Sneferu. You can repeat after me. Oh, ancestors! Oh, ancestors! Blacker than the skies of Newt at midnight. Blacker than the skies of Newt at midnight. pyramid builders, and great ancient priests, warriors and mystic scientists. Give us the inspiration to fight 1,000 lions. Give us the enlightenment to unravel the mysteries of the universe. Give us the sustenance to travel through the trackless swamps of disharmony. Oh ancestors, praise be your African name. Let's call on Snifferoo. May your Ka and your Ba be joined as one. For your Sahu, your spiritual body, fly on the wings of Ra for eternity. Oh ancestors, give Snifferoo eternal life. We come back to pay homage to thee. The great ancestors, our ancestors. We come back. Oh ancestors, praise be your African name. Amen. Ra. Hotep, brother. Let's go to the world's first holy city, long before some Rome, long before the Vatican, and even long before Mecca. Your ancestors had the temple of Seti I, called Aptu, that the Arabs called Abydos, telling of the first holy city where pilgrimages took place right here. You had to climb up the 42 steps going into this temple. For many years, brothers and sisters have returned back with me on our Kemet New Know Thyself educational tour, back to Kemet, to see an eyewitness account of many spiritual stories that were told in books in stone. Right here in the temple of Seti I, over 3,000 years ago, in the world's first holy city called Aptu, where pilgrimages took place, where our ancestors came here to pay homage to Asar. Let's go inside of the temple to see the world's first Immaculate Conception and Resurrection story for an eyewitness account that our ancestors left us over 3,000 years ago. Now look at this. You can see where the Western world church got its design. Long before you had this, the Ptah Soka shrine was already there. For those of you who are just coming in, this is the earliest architectural structure that they call Roman arches. No such thing as Roman arches. These are African arches. If you were to take Western architecture, they say this is Roman arches, but you see this is known thousands of years ago, and this is called Ptah Soka shrine. And here we see the earliest Immaculate Conception. Immaculate means clean. That means she has known no other man. No other man has entered her body. She will have a clean conception. It's the Europeans who corrupted the story, and now we are looked at as a European Madonna and Child, where the concept was copied from here. Keep in mind that the only person who mentions the Immaculate Conception is Luke. Mark doesn't mention it, and then also Matthew doesn't mention it, and John doesn't mention it. Luke mentions it only in terms of being clean. That literally means only one man has entered her body, and that is the seed of Asar. That means clean conception. That's what immaculate means, until later on at the conference of Ephesus, where our goddess Aset was Africanized, where they brought on this whole immaculate conception of the European image of the Madonna and Child that was copied from here. Come in and see the Immaculate Conception. This is called the Ptah Soka Shrine, by the way. Ptah Soka Shrine. Many of the reliefs have been chiseled out. Fortunately, this one is here telling of the first virgin birth resurrection story, where the goddess Aset forms herself into a bird and descends on top of Asar. Although you see the chiseling out of it, because many of the Europeans who were coming in during the Roman times could not deal with the sacredness of the body like Theodosius and Justinian and others. But Isis is going to take the seed from his body to impregnate herself. And this is the earliest concept of the Immaculate Conception, long before an angel of the Lord and Gabriel coming to Mary and said she's going to be with the Holy Child. Look how Asar is lying out on the bed. Look how the Romans copied the concept. Let's go to Rome. See the Pope lying out on the same bed, same hedge crown that Asar is wearing as well, same funeral beds, even got the lion heads that you see right here, even down to the detail of the lion heads of the funeral bed. Now, the only difference is instead of a bird perpendicular to the Pope, they have the white Mary and Jesus, the European Mary and Jesus. But here, let's take and put a set right above here, and you got the same story, the prototype of the Madonna and Child, where she was known as the Theotokos, the Mother of God. Then she in turn becomes impregnated, and she's in the form of, in this form, as the Mheted Ra, or the sacred baboon, because the baboon representing birth. You see her stomach swelled up, but she also forms the Zoop type, okay, of the hippo. Why the hippo for the Zoop type? Because the hippo comes out of the water. It bursts out of the water, okay? And a woman looks something like a hippo. No insult, but they saw that that symbolically shows that she's impregnated, and how the hippo comes out of the water is symbolically like breaking her water. So the Zoop type that they used was the hippo. So Aset is now impregnated with the holy seed of Asar that she had taken from him when she formed herself into the bird, as you see the falcon. We know it's Aset because that's her glyph for Aset. She is now impregnated with the Holy Child. Here we see it, the earliest Holy Child concept of a virgin birth story. Here's the prototype of it all. This was the origin where people would come in. These temples were covered in sand. After they took everything they wanted, then it was covered up. Time took them over. Now we're dug out to come back to see where the story came from. The earliest Immaculate Conception and Resurrection story. Unfortunately, you can't see her on the donkey because that is too obvious right here.